welcome back to season 2 of the Boss Queens with Voices podcast. I'm your host, the Advice Queen, and today I'm joined by my lovely female sister, which I am just going to address by Queen, because she wishes to remain anonymous. So, guys, this episode is going to be all about mental health. Yeah, I've named it Let's Talk Mental Health, and today's episode is going to be a 3-part episode. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about borderline personality disorder, also known as BPD, and bipolar disorder. So, guys, to kick off, I'm going to first of all just give you a brief about the two disorders, and then I will have a chat with my guest, as we call her, Queen. So, let's get into it. So, borderline personality and bipolar, as according to WebMD, says that these two disorders are often confused. They both have symptoms of impulsiveness and mood swings, but they are different disorders and have different treatments. So for bipolar disorder, also known as manic depression, bipolar disorder causes mood swings, energy, and the ability to function throughout the day. The symptoms include periods of depression and mania, and this can last from days up to months. Unlike borderline personality disorder, the mood swings of bipolar disorder are not triggered by interpersonal conflicts. And it also says that this can last for days to weeks or months rather than minutes to hours, and episodes are by definition accompanied by changes in sleep, energy, speech, and thinking. So during times of mania, symptoms could include an excessively happy or angry, irritated mood, more physical and mental energy and activity than normal, racing thoughts and ideas, talking more faster, making big plans, risk-taking, impulsiveness. This could include substance abuse, sex, spending, etc. Less sleep, but no feeling of being tired, and poor judgment. And during periods of depression, symptoms might include drop in energy, lasting sadness, less activity and energy, restlessness and irritability. I think I said that right. Problems concentrating and making decisions, worrying and anxiety, which I'm having right now. No interest in favourite activities, feeling of guilt and hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, and changing appetite or sleep patterns. So for bipolar, they're saying most people with bipolar need lifelong treatment to help their condition, to keep their condition managed, And this can usually include medication, mood stabilizers, and sometimes antipsychotics or antidepressants, which a lot of us are familiar with. Therapy can also help people with bipolar disorder and understand and develop skills to handle it. So that was for bipolar disorder. I know it's a lot of information, but bear with me. So for borderline personality disorder, this involves a long-standing pattern of abrupt, moment-to-moment swings in moods, relationships, self-image, and behavior, in contrast to distinct episodes of mania or depression in people with bipolar disorder that are usually triggered by conflicts in interactions with other people. So that's, people that have bipolar are usually triggered by conflicts and interactions with other people, whereas people with, borderline personality disorder is other things like self-image and, relationships and mood swings and those kind of things. So it goes on to say people with BPD can experience overly strong emotional responses to upsetting life events and often try to hurt themselves. They often have chaotic relationships with people and are more likely to have mental health problems too. They're also more likely to have had some type of trauma as a child than people with bipolar disorder. So that's a very distinctive, difference there, yeah? So, and Also, it says that although trauma in itself does cause borderline personality disorder, they often also can have problems with addictions, eating disorders, body image, and anxiety. So that's pretty much sum up of what they say about borderline personality disorder. It's a lot to say. Yeah. So going on to the symptoms of BPD, it says there are frantic efforts to avoid feeling abandoned, history of unstable, intense relationships, tendency to view people and situations either all good or all bad, poor self-image, impulsive spending, substance abuse, self-harm, suicidal behaviour, mood swings, involving anger and depression, usually in response to stressful events or relationships, feelings of emptiness, problems managing anger and unpleasant emotions, and paranoia. And for the treatment of BPD, it says it's long-term treatment, usually necessary for people with borderline personality disorder, and treatment usually involves psychotherapy such as dialectical, did I say that right? Dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT, or transference focused psychotherapy, TFP. Gosh, all these terms. Yeah, aimed at helping people manage impulses such as suicidal urges or tendency to self-harm when they feel upset or have feelings of distress or anger, and emotionally oversensitivity to interactions with other people. So the medications also sometimes used to help with these symptoms, although they are not always effective and not considered to be the main focus of treatment in BPD. Sometimes that could include short hospital stays to help the person, alleviate the threat, I should say, of their safety and their well-being. So that is that, guys. I think I gave you a very informative breakdown on the two disorders. So as I said, today we're joined by Kween, and Kween's agreed that she's going to share a bit of her, story and also her knowledge into these two disorders. So first of all, we're going to thank Kween for joining us and giving us her time and her space and, her grace also. And,
thank you.
Yeah, and then we're just going to jump in. So do you want to give us a little bit brief about yourself? It doesn't have to be anything personal. You can just say what you like, what you don't like. Or you could just jump in and just...
Okay, what can I say? I'm a fitness fanatic. Mm-hmm. That's how I deal with my moods.
Yeah.
That helps, just having a good fitness regime.
I kind of saw that when I came in.
Yeah, because of how I'm dressed. And when I am training, then I can eat better as well. Definitely. So that helps. Sleep is still a big issue unless I'm medicated. So yeah, sleep is not my friend right now. Okay. What motivates me? I don't know. I'm a people person. I'm happy most of the time, other than when either the BPD or the bipolar is kicking my ass.
Yeah.
But the other times I'd like to say I'm pretty much chilled. I stay in my zone.
I feel that energy, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. I'm chilled. I'm happy and chilled most of the time.
Good.
So I guess when people see that I'm not in that zone, then obviously that's saying something's definitely wrong. Because that's who I am by nature. And yes, that's it. I don't have much other interest. Like I said, I'm just kind of one up. Oh yeah, I like puzzles.
Okay.
I like playing chess. People would see me, wouldn't assume that I like those kind of things. Yeah. But they're...
mentally stimulating.
Yeah, I do find it mentally stimulating. I like to play chess against myself.
Okay.
Because I'm not always around people.
Yeah.
And, puzzles is... Obviously, you're in the moment with puzzles as well. So you're not really thinking so much because you're trying to find the pieces. So I only do 1,000-piece puzzles.
Distraction. Yeah. Mind distraction, definitely. Yeah.
And I like intricate colouring books.
No, you know what?
I like
Don't laugh. I actually bought colouring pens the other day, colouring pencils, and I have a journal. But the journal has got so much bits that you can colour in, and I really enjoy it.
See, and one thing, I stay away from journals.
I literally bought it to do the colouring in, the colour.
So that's probably something I could try. But anything that's just like,
but I do like
just where you just write. I don't do writing.
Okay.
Therapists and stuff have always told me to write. Friends and family have told me to write about my feelings. They always think it's better to get it down on paper. But I think when your thoughts are so dark and you've been in such dark places and it's so personal, my biggest fear is someone finding it.
No, but you know what? You know what you can do? It's just a tip. We're sitting here right now. You've got a massive back garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, when you're in that zone, write it down and then just go out there and burn it.
So I never thought about that. I think
because then you've released it and nobody can see it.
And I think that's what it is. But when people make the suggestion, it's usually that you don't write it and burn it.
No.
It's usually you keep it.
You don't need to keep it
in a book. And
because
I
sometimes
don't like that.
if it's like that and it's things that you don't want to revisit, you understand what I'm saying? You just write it down. I've done that. That's why I'm saying it. And it's you know what? So when you're burning it, listen, just try it one day.
I'd rather try that than write everything.
Yeah, because my biggest fear as well was for people to find out your deepest and so. And I think I can't remember who or where I read it, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try that. I think it was Oprah. I'm not sure. Let me not quote it, and I thought that's a good idea because then there's no fear of someone finding the journal lying around or. Do you understand what I mean? So you just write like on a piece of paper here.
I'm gonna try, like I said,
draw whatever the emotion is. What if you can't write it and go burn it?
Yeah, that's been my biggest fear. So I always feel like writing.
That's a tip.
Yeah, I just
try.
I'm gonna try it. I've never done it. But I'm open to the idea if I can actually burn it. So I guess let's talk about bipolar.
Yeah, so let's kick off right into it. Let's just jump in.
So I was diagnosed with bipolar 2011. I'd say it's triggered from childhood trauma. I've spent some time as a looked after child. Okay. We won't speak too much about those experiences. I think there's definitely a lot for another segment.
Yeah.
And I was pregnant with my daughter, and they do say sometimes when you have those kind of unwanted revisits from certain memories when you're pregnant, it triggers it. And I was very much triggered. So I got the diagnosis in 2011, and what bipolar looked like for me, I can only speak from my own personal experience, by the way.
That's what it's all about.
It was the lows. The lows were low. The lows where I feel like my depression was going to last maybe a couple of weeks. Then the couple of weeks turned into a couple of months. Yeah. And a couple of months turned into like half a year. Wow. And it just meant that I just felt crippled. I couldn't move. Even, don't judge me, girls, like personal care, going out the window. 100%. Can't even moisturise my hair. Like, did I even bathe yesterday? That's how bad it was getting.
Because you wasn't there.
I just wasn't there. Then obviously a loss of appetite. So I'm just not eating. I'm not sleeping. I'm just sitting there in a zone. People phone you and they're like, there's no noise in the background. So when I mean zoning out, in my depressive state and anxious at the same time, I'm not even watching telly, listening to music, and I don't want to chat to nobody. I'd probably literally just go out to the shop, get what I needed, and just come back and just...
Almost a social recluse.
Yeah. Just not wanting to be around people and not being able to do anything. Like, literally thinking I just can't do anything. So those times, I think there were times when I did sleep a lot, trying to sleep through it, and other times when I was just so anxious about everything, so triggered by everything, that I just could not sleep. So my sleep probably would be, you might get about 3 hours. Oh, wow. That was, if that, and it's been going on for years. And after that, when you don't get sleep and you have bipolar, then you might have Then after that, I'm just aggressive. I'm angry, snappy. Just generally probably not a nice person to be around at the time. You know, obviously I was able to acknowledge it, but that's why I kept myself away.
Even if you was without without your disorder, even getting 3 hours of sleep, 3 hours sleep a day, anybody would be not a nice person. Yeah, I felt very that's manic. I felt manic. Everything I was just ultra sensitive to. Like I said, just highly triggered, and I just felt like sometimes I just had like bundles of energy.
Like I'm bouncing off the walls in here.
Literally what?
Yeah, like energy. I'm talking fast, and I have the biggest ideas. I've made some big boo-boos when I've had.
So you was relating when I was reading out.
Spending money, people taking your money, all sorts of things. Like everything is the most fantastic idea. It's a really good idea at the time. I'm telling you, I had some brilliant ideas. They were brilliant at the time. Until you made like some boo-boos and committed to certain things that you probably should not have. Not even probably should not have. Committed to at the time, and it was awful. Like really, but you couldn't tell me that I wasn't okay. I thought I was okay. Like, I had energy, like energy where, like I said, those just getting 3 hours sleep sometimes turn into 24 hours. Sometimes that's a 36 hour.
Wow.
And I'm still going.
And you were still functioning.
Still going. That means I start cleaning the house. Yeah. I'm finding all 101 things that I was supposed to do that was on that to-do list that I couldn't do when I had the depressive state. So now I've got energy. I can do all of those things.
Trying to do everything.
I'm trying to do everything.
So then, in a sense, you're running yourself back down again.
And then when you crash and burn, and then you're back in the state. So I don't know what we call it. Just the kind of manic episodes. They obviously, because you burn out quick, they didn't always last for very long. But the depressive
what came
one
after
really lasted so much longer, and that was every day just feeling suicidal. Why my hair? Why my hair? I need a purpose. Why my hair? Why my hair? Feeling paranoid.
So if you don't mind me asking, like, you said you was diagnosed in when?
2011.
And how old was you then?
31.
So what was it because of you was having your child that
It was. I feel like it was always there. Like I have
not the disorder. I'm saying what made you go and seek help or.
It's because I was having a child where I sought help. And like I said, prior to that, ethnic minorities, we don't ask for help. Definitely. Because it's a sign of weakness. It is soft, man. And another thing, you never say to someone that's going through something, there's someone worse off than you.
Yeah.
You hear that so much. So what happens when, that's a minor, or you'll get over it. People don't really listen.
Oh, don't worry, you get over it.
Yeah, and I feel like when it's not your lived reality, it's quite easy to say that to somebody.
100%.
And it might, do you know what? It might not even be that it's a major thing, but it's a major thing to that person at that point in time. Yeah. So I feel like it's something we need to stop saying.
Definitely.
Let that person own it. And the person's not always looking for a solution either. Sometimes we just want you to listen. We want to be heard. Yeah. And then sometimes we find the solution by ourselves. But what we don't need is you'll get over it, you're too soft, you're weak, you're this, you
don't need any input, you just need someone to listen. Yeah,
it's not helpful.
It's not helping.
And like I said, I found it hard just being a black woman because everyone expected me to be the strong black woman. I think we discussed this on the phone. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because that means if I've got to be her, that strong black woman, I'm not allowed to be vulnerable. I've spent years suppressing my vulnerability. Yeah. Because every time I had these...
That's another fucked up thing that society has done to us, isn't it?
But it's our own that's done it.
Yeah. It's our own, but it's because it's learned behaviour, isn't it?
It is learned behaviour.
And at a time when our, grandparents, forefathers, ancestors, whatever you want to call it, were going through them things, it was survival for them, innit?
Exactly.
But it's almost something that's been passed down through the generations. And maybe even without understanding as to why, we do these things, but it's just something that you do as a survival mode, maybe even without knowing that it's survival mode. And as you said, it's not healthy.
It isn't healthy, and I realised it just wasn't healthy. So that to me was the most difficult. It was when to ask for help.
That's why,
Then they will say, don't go and speak to the doctors, because guess what? If you go to the doctor, they're going to section, because remember, you're a black woman. We're over, presented in, if that's even the right word, I'm dyslexic, but there's a lot
represented.
When you go to mental health institutions.
Okay, so it's
lots of ethnic minorities. And also women go and look for the statistics on just women, black, white, from wherever, women in institutions, how much of just women are sectioned. Yeah. It's a lot. So you don't want to go there because you're just thinking, okay, if I say this, then
this will happen and
I might get sectioned. No one's trying to get sections. So I think for me, for many years, it was just avoidance because I was scared. I was scared of what was going to happen. I was scared of it being on my doctor's notes.
100%.
And I will speak about that because once you've got bipolar and you have a mental health conditions on your doctor's note, try and get health insurance.
Can't get it.
Life insurance. Try and get it. Difficult.
Can't get it. Oh,
actually, when you're travelling. What about when you're travelling? You have to declare that you have mental health.
Wow.
So a lot of times, a lot of us aren't trying to get help because we know that in some respects, it works against us as well.
And especially going back to, obviously you having your child, that also is another fear factor. You definitely don't want to be saying.
Well, let's speak about that because when my daughter wasn't always well, so I called the ambulance a few times as I'm down as having bipolar. Understand? By the second time I called them and I went in, we were, they kept us overnight in the hospital. My daughter was unwell.
Yeah.
But I'm down with bipolar, so they thought it was a cry for help. So for the first few days, the doctor's in there not seeing that there's something wrong. So I'm telling them, but everyone just feels like it's my cry for help because I got mental health issues. I'm having a breakdown apparently.
Bloody hell.
So they couldn't see that my child was struggling.
Wow.
I won't say what it wasn't like a major thing.
Yeah.
But
the point is
that I called them for help for my child, but because I have mental health,
they were more focused on that than
my inability to cope. I mean, that wasn't the case at the time. Yes, I was struggling, I'm not going to lie, because of what she had. She was up obviously they're up every couple of hours, and then what she was diagnosed with kept her up for a couple more hours. So I wasn't sleeping. So
and
yes, I come across
already.
So now I'm very erratic, and I had to administer medication for her every 3 hours as well.
Wow.
So I weren't sleeping. So yes, it was a strain, and I was doing it by myself. But when there was a genuine reason, I called the ambulance, and there was a genuine reason for admission. So 3 days into the stay, social worker turns up. This is what happens when you start telling people you have mental health. So I'm not trying to put anyone off. I want anyone who's experiencing any ill mental health right now, I'm going to encourage you to go to your GP or to call an ambulance if you have to, or to call the crisis helpline, or to contact Mind. There is so much, organisations out there that you can call. But I would just say to you, I'm showing my experience of the obstacles and why I didn't want to ask for help.
And that's also why a lot of, sisters, mothers, brothers in the community, children even, are afraid to say, I'm struggling, because there's a stigma behind mental health. Everybody is afraid to just, even accept the fact that, do you understand? And even this episode is titled, Let's Talk Mental Health.
Yeah.
Nobody overdoes this, because we would rather be saying that, people overdo you or juju, whatever, depending on whatever part of the world you come from.
Yeah.
But basically, someone's done something to you. You know, more than to say that this person just isn't coping. This person needs a little bit of support, a little bit of help, whatever the case may be. You get what I mean? So, it's scary.
So that was, like I said, just the hardest part is being a parent and thinking, once everyone knows, what's going to happen. But obviously they looked at how I parented. They come to the home. She's not a neglected child. She's, she's fed. She's clean.
Yeah.
And looking at interaction. So I guess that was, that definitely helped me. That even though I was neglecting myself, under all of it, when I was thinking, it was, I need to care for her.
Yeah.
She needs me. She can't care for herself.
Your primal instincts are still kicking in.
So even though I just couldn't, I couldn't take care of myself. I didn't feel like I could. I was trying my best, but I made sure everything with her was on point. So it was challenging times, very, very challenging times. So I would say I've had episodes, obviously just not then. Well, that time when I called the hospital, that wasn't the ambulance. That wasn't me having an episode.
Yeah.
I have had episodes.
Where you
after, quite a few times after. And like I said, the highs and the lows, I've been known to the community mental health team. I think at first they tried to give me some medication. I went for it, obviously because of my child needs. Because, you're trying to care for a child and you feel sedated.
Yeah.
Can I administer medication when I'm sedated?
Exactly.
Is that wise? More to the point.
Yeah.
So I went with what I thought was best as a parent to meet my child's needs. So was discharged from their services based on that, and have been back and forth to their services over the last 5 years.
Okay.
So I'd say in 2016 things got real bad. I finished uni 2016 and graduated with a first. So yes, we might have mental health issues out here, but it doesn't mean that we're not smart and articulate.
Come on, exactly.
Women, because we are.
And that's the thing, and that is the whole reason why, you know, I was so grateful for you to, you know, come on the podcast and speak, because, you know, what we term as mad and, you know, all the rest of it, you know, because we have all these labels that we put on people that are struggling, whether it's emotionally or mentally or whatever, but most of them are me and you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you understand what I mean? But we are hidden behind this strong woman facade, as you said, you know, you refuse to, and it's true. Why should we have to be plastered behind this? Oh yeah, I have to be strong, so, you know, this one's okay, or when people see me, I'm not, you know, this kind of way. And as I said, yeah, most of the time we are high functioning, going to work, taking care of home, doing all the rest of it. So mental health is not something that only affects people that are homeless, or, do you understand what I mean? People that are down and out or whatever. And mental health affects everybody.
Exactly.
You understand? Especially in the black community, because we're going for, you know, it's generations of trauma. So no one can really say, oh, no, I don't have no depression, I don't have no this, I don't have no that. It's just speaking about it and removing the stigma.
Won't do, and which a lot of people aren't doing. And like I said, for me, how my bipolar shows up is very different. I have a close relative who is diagnosed with it. When we were much younger, she's a very different person now. I never got her back.
Okay.
She was in and out of a mental health institution, so I visited her a lot.
Okay.
And I think for me that was been the hardest part, because I never saw her return.
Yeah.
And we were close, you know, that I never seen her return to herself, other than when she's on the medication. But if she's not continuously monitored within the community, she gets sick again.
I can see it's hurt, yeah.
And it was hurtful. That was probably, like, me dealing with it is hard. But I never got her back. She was just in and out and in and out until sometimes you see her, you don't even recognise her. Does she even recognise herself? And, you know, that's been difficult, but that's how it affected her. Like, I have, you know, fortunately, for the grace of God, I haven't been sectioned. There's lots of times when I thought I would be.
Yeah.
So that was, you know, her journey. And, you know, that's how...
And that's why, again, a lot of people, I mean, I don't know what her situation is, but I'm saying that is a fear of people in real life. Like, nobody wants to be sectioned.
Nope.
So people will rather, you know, not deal with it.
Yeah,
and,
it's easier, you know, for them at the time until it catches up on you. Because I feel like I've had a lot of things that I dealt with, but I suppressed for years. But when it rears its ugly head, it gets peak for us out here.
100%.
So suppressing, I feel like for anyone out there, when you're suppressing stuff, like, if you've got someone to speak to, please talk. If it's someone that you can trust, because we suppress a lot. And when it comes and rears its ugly head, it ain't pretty. And that's what I experienced, because I was that strong black woman on the go, always finding something else to involve myself in, to be busy and distracted. And then I ended up here.
I was saying to a friend today, you know, we've only been, she'd be my friend from childhood, but we only just started like linking up probably like the last couple months. You know, her mum passed away a few months ago, so, you know, we've been exchanging phone calls and whatever. And I was saying to her that I actually went through depression for 3 years, and not one of my close friends knew. Nobody around me knew. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the only person that knew was the doctor and me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well.
And even when she said that word, you masked it well, I thought to myself, oh, did I? Do you understand what I mean? Because I in my eyes, I wasn't masking it, but I would disappear. I would turn down, you know, going out with my friends.
Stuff, yeah.
And do you understand what I mean? I think at a time I developed even social anxiety, like even being out now, I felt attacked. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah. You get what I mean? And it wasn't something that my immediate circle, I don't know if they did, but it's not something that we've ever spoken about. Do you understand what I mean?
But a lot of people are scared to also ask.
I think so.
I feel like sometimes you feel like you're going to offend the person, come on, us black people, sometimes we can be defensive with certain stuff. You know,
I would have been.
So if someone said, you know what, I feel like you're not coping, are you all right? Would you have said it?
No,
probably
as I
not.
said, I probably wouldn't have, and I probably would have been offended.
And that's
that time.
And that's why sometimes people in our
and that's ignorance
in our group, you know, our support networks, or who could be in a support network, can't help us because sometimes we just ain't talking.
100%. Because how would they know?
Exactly.
I'm still showing out. Yeah, I might decline a few, you know, party dates, and I might piss off for a couple of weeks and no one.
Which is normal when we're looking after families and commitments.
Yeah, exactly. People just think, you know, everyone's got their own thing going on. And that is that. And again, you know, when people know you to be of a certain, you know, everyone thinks you're strong. They're not going to think that you're in your house breaking down.
No. It's the last thing they'd think.
So, yeah.
So I think, just not being able to share or feeling that we can't, and others around us not wanting to ask the questions. Because they don't want to be attacked, so no one ain't asking questions. So everyone just dealing with their mental health by themselves.
Yeah.
Going to the doctors and all the other appointments and having 8 episodes in between. Like myself, because I did that for a while. So I think some people probably didn't know I had any mental health issues until like years later. Because I didn't trust no one enough. I didn't want... What I didn't want, I don't want your sympathy or your pity.
100%.
That's what I don't want. I don't... Like I said, I'm vulnerable. Yes, see me as a vulnerable person because we all have vulnerabilities. Women, we all have it. So I don't mind that part, but I didn't want you to be someone who, you know, don't pity me. Don't try to fix me because I can't be fixed. 100%. You're not a professional and it's my journey. Someone can't fix me.
Yeah.
And those are all the things that I didn't want.
Almost patronising.
Yeah, it's like sometimes they don't know that that's what they're doing, but that's how...
Yeah, it's not intentional.
Yeah.
That's how it comes across because you don't need it. I'm
trying to boogie through it. I'm trying to figure it out. And like I said, it's just needing someone to listen.
You know what, I had a friend. She's still my friend, not like I had a friend past tense. I have a friend. I haven't seen her for a while, but she was going through some issues, good little while ago, But guess what? See, like how me and you're sitting down here? I used to turn up at her house every day. I knew she was going through shit. She was a proud person. Even if I came in her house and it was a mess and I offered to help her tidy up, she would tell me, no, don't worry, man, sit down, I'm going to do it. Do you understand what I mean? I know you need the help. But because you told me leave it, I'm not going to intrude and say, no, come on, let me just do it. Like, you understand me?
Yeah.
So I'll just sit there more time. Sometimes we sit at the table, like I'm here sitting at the table like this, and I'm just there smoking. She's staring up out in squares because her setup is similar to this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And we can do that for hours. But guess what? I didn't have to say anything to her. I didn't have to ask her anything. I was just being there as a friend. And a lot of our other friends used to say, the two of you mad. On African, the two of you mad. But no, because I knew she was going through something. So, and she's got her children and whatever. So that, as I said, she wouldn't allow me to do anything. But just my presence, I know that alleviated a lot of her stresses. Does that make sense?
No, but it does though sometimes.
So I get what you're saying when you're saying you don't want no one, you know, sympathising and, you know, trying to do all this extra stuff for you. Just let me figure it out.
I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to have a lot of dark days, but I feel like it's my journey and my responsibility.
100%.
The only time I feel like you intervene is if you feel like the child is at risk, I'm at risk to myself, I'm at risk to somebody else.
Yeah.
Then then sometimes as friends, we just got to do it whether we like it or not.
And that's why I used to go around there, just to make sure the kids were fine. As I said, I wasn't intervening, trying to cook for them or whatever, but if she say go shop, I'll go shop. If she said, you understand, I'd wait for her to ask me. But a lot of people didn't understand that. It was like, why would you just go and sit down in their house and not say nothing?
But you was there, your presence.
Because that's what you do.
That's what she needed.
Do you get what I mean?
And sometimes that's all that's needed. So like I said, some of my friends are better dealing with my mental. I've got to fix it. I've got to fix my hair, got to moisturise, and you've been wearing your black uniform for the school run for how much days? So, you know, like she was mega supportive and I appreciated it, and the way in what it was done done with love, banter, and I felt that could be totally transparent.
Yeah.
And like I said, she seen me going through the highs and the lows without judgment. So like I said, I've spoken a bit about my bipolar. I only touched on it. But now we're going to talk about the BPD.
BPD. Let's go over to BPD.
Okay, so I started having some different kind of episodes. I think 2019. Triggered by, let's say, like my stress levels at the time. Now, I struggled to understand what this diagnosis was. Yeah. So first of all, what it was known as before was it was unstable personality disorder. Okay. So obviously they changed the name later on. I see that, yeah. So it was unstable. Emotionally unstable.
Emotionally unstable, okay.
So I was like, okay. So then I looked at the traits and how they cross over with the bipolar. But the only thing was why they diagnosed me with that is because sometimes with the BPD, you can go through the states throughout the day. Okay. So, I mean, like, just the whole mania, like, really happy bouncing off the walls, to suicidal, to just really depressed, to really happy. And that cycle would continue. So I could phone my friend in the morning and be, like, really, really low. And by the time she gets here, music's playing, the whole vibes change, and later on I could be crying. I didn't know what was happening. And that went on for a while, so they gave me that diagnosis. And I'm not going to sit here and say I always agree with all diagnoses as well. If you want a second opinion, always try and get that. You know, like I said, this is just my personal experience. So like I said, it was just difficult trying to see where the bipolar started or ended, or where the BPD started or ended. And the constant crossing over that sometimes I don't even know when it's so bad between the two of them which one I'm going through.
But it does say that's, you know, a common correlation.
Yeah.
You know, there can be an overlapping of both. So you can
and that is both. The hard part, because sometimes it's not knowing when my arm starts and it ends. Not knowing which cycle I'm going through. Yeah. Oh. That makes you feel mad. Like today, is this the BPD today, or is this going to be bipolar? Am I going to feel like this for the next couple of months? Is it going to pass and I'm going to be like bouncing off the walls? I don't know half of the time. So I will say they've given me medication. I tried, I think, lamotrigine. Like I said, I'm dyslexic, so my pronunciation, like how I pronounce stuff, is just going to probably sound way off.
They're lucky they can.
But you can Google it.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go.
The side effects with that. They gave me that for the bipolar, I would say. Side effects, horrid. Okay. Like excessive sweating when you're trying to sleep, spasms, constantly feeling thirsty, stiffness in my neck and my joints. The list was endless. But I also have a blood disorder, and hopefully we can cover that later on. That affects a lot of black women between the ages of, I think, of 25 and late 30s. Okay. So along with the blood disorder, which has seen me hospitalised, my platelets dropped. So taking this medication, obviously the side effects were really bad, so one day I decided not to take it. Okay. I took some bloods. By the time I clocked, woke up in the morning, cell doc's been at my house, I got low blood platelet readings. Looked at the paperwork, always read what comes in the packet. Yeah. It says can cause low blood platelets. Oh, wow. So there's me now, Saturday afternoon, in A&E, doing bloods and waiting for them to count my bloods manually because they kind of cluster together. I can only leave the hospital when it's a reading of, I think they said that day, 50,000 or something. Okay. But it's all right because that condition, it's a weird one, it went up by itself. So the day before it was probably 30,000, which is very low, which means I'll start getting bruising. Nighttime sweats, bruising, I'll lose weight, I get dots, they're called purpura dots. Oh, wow. It's commonly found with people that have certain cancers, lupus, hepatitis, the list goes on. Okay. And I've got the autoimmune version, so mine is stress-induced. Right. So I will tell you, the body keeps score, or when you think it doesn't, it does.
I'm gonna touch on that.
Yeah. So that's how I found out about that condition. So certain medications I can't have. That was one of them. Yeah. Because once I stopped taking it, you know, even though I don't always have a high platelet count, it did go up within the 24 hours of me stopping the medication. Oh, wow. So that medication could have just found me in hospital again. But through the grace of God, I took the bloods in a good time, and it was, you know, I went to A&E and did what I had to do. So obviously that one wasn't working. So there I was still in, you know, depressive state, manic states, and just all over the place, and just not knowing what medication to take. And then you have all the professionals saying, well, she's got this, so maybe we should try this or try that, and maybe we shouldn't try that one because she's got that going on. So it took a good while to try a new medication, which I was scared to try after that. You know, I was, you know, really apprehensive about trying it.
Yeah.
So later, I think the next medication I tried after that, other than the lamotrigine, I was on something before that too. Can't remember the side effects. Weren't great.
Not great.
So that lamotrigine was the second one I took.
Okay.
And that's just, like I said, within the last couple of years of me having my episodes. Then got prescribed trazodone. Now, trazodone can trigger your bipolar as well. That's another thing.
So they give you a medication for the personality disorder that can trigger the bipolar.
Yeah, but this is meant to be able to treat an aspect of the BPD.
Okay.
But
okay,
really,
so it's a medication for
with
bipolar.
BPD, you can't really.
So it's not it's the medication for the bipolar.
It's for the bipolar, but it should be able to treat.
Yeah. I got you.
Aspects of the BPD. BPD, as we know from research, is mainly like the therapy, which I'm waiting. I'm waiting for psychotherapy. I've been waiting for 18 months. So I had an assessment about a month ago, and I'm just waiting for the treatment. But it's long. It's
a
you know,
long-winded thing. But
but the treatment lasts between 12 months and between 12 and 18 months.
Okay, so the treatment itself is
it's meant to be good for BPD. So obviously I have to wait for it because there's not actually any one medication that can treat BPD.
Yeah.
Treating bipolar is very different.
Because as you said, bipolar is more a chemical.
It's either chemical, hereditary, or just like triggered, but a lot of it is found with your chemical imbalance. This one, they try to maybe make you help you unlearn certain things, change your blueprint, so to speak.
Patterns,
yeah. So they just find it harder to treat. So I haven't had the proper treatment for it, but I'm waiting, and I'm hoping that it's successful. But we won't know until then, and you know, it's a long, you know, it's been a long time coming, but I'm still waiting. So in the meantime, like I said, I've had the trazodone. The side effects with that, blocked nose. So you take trazodone, now you can't breathe. So that can keep up for a while, just trying to regulate your breathing. Which, when you read the packet, that's what it says as well. Some people struggle, like, you know, they get stuffy nose. That means I can't breathe. I'm asthmatic as well, and I suffer with panic attacks. So that don't really help.
Oh wow.
Okay, so you're thirsty. Sometimes you can sleep, and you can sleep into, you know, you're proper sedated. Get up in the morning, now you can't move. Now you got to do school run, but you could be up at the 6 a.m. time, and you're just there. You're awake, but your body can't move.
Your body is not no
so everything I'm doing now is in slow motion. So I'm getting everything done, but it's slow. I'm not really coherent when I take that in, probably until, if I've been up since about 6 or 7, I'm probably coherent by 1 p.m. That's when I can function a bit better. You lose motivation, so sometimes I just sit here, I just don't want to do nothing. You know, I'm willing, but my body can't move to do the steps. I don't feel anything. I feel emotionless.
Wow.
So it's like someone on the inside that's got a lot going on, but I still, on the outward, I can't express.
You can't let it out.
I can't express it. So if someone's speaking to me, I feel, like I said, I'm slow to catch the mark. My speech might be slurred. I might dribble a bit. And I'm just like, I'm just behind. It's like the light's on, but no one's home. So that's pretty much how it is. No, on the day-to-day functioning with the medication. Sometimes, if my anxiety is that bad, I can sleep through the medication. So that just means I'll lay here. I ain't sleeping. Body feels drowsy. I can't move, but I'm still awake.
You're still awake.
But you're kind of like, you just feel a bit paralysed. And you know, you're just up.
Pretty much
So your thoughts are still racing.
yeah.
You're still kind of hit, but you're just not getting any sleep. So that can happen as well. This medication has, you know, it can trigger mania. I've had that while on the medication as well. More panic attacks, I grind my teeth, bite out my gums. Well, not my gums, my cheek. So that's kind of bloody when I get up as well.
Oh, wow.
Dreaming is reliving trauma. It's like the dreams are so real when, obviously, the sleep state that you get into.
It's like, yeah, I get what you mean.
You'll be knocked out with the medication and wake up, can't breathe, crying. So sometimes I'm sitting there thinking, this meant to make me better.
Oh, wow.
Because sometimes I feel like I'm getting worse.
Oh, wow.
That's the fact. So, for the record, I'm not taking it anymore. I should speak to, before you stop medication, always speak to your GP if you can get an appointment. Because, you know, obviously it's not wise to do that because it can trigger episodes, and just the withdrawal in general is terrible. So it's not something I would advise.
To do without...
haven't been able to make an appointment. They don't have any slots. So I've just had to stop it. Because obviously when you get to that stage, you can get a bit more suicidal as well. So it can trigger so much other things.
I was on another live a few weeks ago and I heard someone say the same thing, that the medication that was supposed to be making them feel better and, you know, take away those suicidal thoughts was actually heightening the suicide. And I thought, wow, that's deep.
Not for all people.
Not for all people.
It's not the first medication that I've taken that's made me feel that way. I think in 2012 or 2013 I had to call an ambulance to my workplace. Felt suicidal, it triggered me, I was aggressive.
Oh, wow.
A lot of crap went down. Good thing that, you know, at the job they were understanding. Because obviously I had an episode and that triggered it. So I called the ambulance and went to A&E.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's what I had to do at the time. So my thought is, if I can't get hold of the GP, I will go to the hospital. That's it. Point blank period. If no one else is there to support or whatever else, I'm just going to the hospital. So if you feel that it gets that bad, folks, please just don't feel like you're wasting ambulance time. You know, if you need to get to the hospital, you feel suicidal and it's that bad, please just call A&E.
Just get there.
Or just get to the hospital. I'm not saying that, you know, not everyone's going to automatically assuming you come in that you need to be sectioned either.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's not always the case. For some people it's been the case. But it's not always the case. But if you do need the help, that's what you need to be doing. Let's not sit here and try and kill ourselves. There is some support out there. So
100%.
So like I said, I've had to call them before. They didn't keep me in that night. I think obviously I told them to stop taking medications in my GP the next day and entrusted me to go home with a friend where I spent a couple of days there waiting for my child because just wasn't in a good place. So not the greatest. But like a lot of the medications do trigger other stuff. So that's why it's so important to always read and do your research on what you're taking. Because even with the trazodone, obviously before you came here today, I knew you was coming, so I thought, you know what? These are the side effects I'm experiencing. Some things I just think it's in my head. I'm going to do some research, and I started to realise, obviously, a lot of things I've shared with you lot today, a lot of people going through it, people like, trazodone's the devil. You know, but it might work. I'm not going to say it's totally negative. I did read where it worked for other people, but we're all different.
Exactly.
We need, different dosages
work. Our genetic makeup as, black females, women of colour, whatever you want to call it. I like to say black females because our genetic makeup is different from everybody else. So what might work for a European or an Asian might not necessarily work for us. So it's not necessarily that you don't take medication or you don't seek medication, but it's not always the case that it works for us. It might create a different, chemical imbalance within us. So that's not saying don't go out there and try to get the help or take your, like how you did, your due diligence. Not always, but you got there and you've decided that it's not for you at the moment. So
like I said, I will be calling primary care for new medication. Because obviously if I can't sleep, then I'm going to probably get a bit manic. But I have to make that decision now because it's triggering other stuff anyway. And the dreams, I don't like to be tortured in my sleep. I don't like to wake up having panic attacks. I don't like none of that. 100%. So obviously I've made that decision for myself. It might not be the right decision for yourselves. So think about it,
it's
and then speak
to due diligence. At the end of the day. And not just brushing it under the carpet or just taking everything that you're given. Do your research, as you said, and if it's not working for you, it's making you feel worse, let your GP know.
Always let your GP know. So, like I said, I think for me, that's kind of been a lifesaver, because I could have got sick with my foot if I didn't go to the GP and be like, look, this is what's happening.
Yeah. 100%.
You know? So it's needed.
So where are you now in terms of...
I had an episode the other day. So.
Okay. But you're more able... So, obviously, coming from 91, did you say again? I'm so
2011.
I'm so bad with numbers, you know.
Don't worry about
that. My brain is just like a sieve. But so from 2011 to now 2021, that's 10 years of, you know, you going through, you know, various stages of, you know, each disorder. So would you think you're at the stage now where you're able to identify when you're going to have an episode? Okay, is that money? Because that thing just came
Don't sting none of us right now.
Yeah, so are you in a place where you're able to, you know, do you know when it's gonna come? And...
I don't always know.
Okay, so you still.
So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, because trust me, I don't always know, because I can be fine, especially with the BPD, fine now and then. I can't really tell you what's gonna happen in the next couple of hours.
Okay.
If I'm, you know, really overwhelmed by something, really, you know, high stress factors. If I haven't slept, so I can't really say.
Yeah.
But at the time when I feel like something's coming, sometimes I'm aware of it. Yeah, sometimes I'm aware and sometimes I'm not.
Okay.
So it's, you know, important to have people around you that can kind of notice a change in you, that you're in tune with, that people that you can trust and that you can be transparent with, so that even if you speak to them on a day-to-day basis, they can see a change. Like my friend was here the other day and she was like, you need to sleep. I was like, I can't sleep. She's like, you seem a bit manic, you're speaking a bit fast, you're a bit... You need to slow down. When she got home, she called to check, are you going to go sleep? I was like, I don't even feel like sleeping. She's like, can you just go sleep though? What is it?
It's on the floor now.
So she was just like, can you just go to sleep? I took my friend's advice. I went to sleep, still felt a bit wobbly when I got up.
Yeah.
And then after that, it wasn't so bad.
Okay.
And see, after that, I just said, I can't take that. That trazodone no more.
So in terms of, you know, keeping yourself, you know, trying to, because obviously you've got your mental health to deal with. How do you physically keep yourself, you know, do you do exercise every day? Do you go outside? Because you've got a lovely big back garden out there.
Okay, I've only just done the garden. A couple of weeks ago.
Was it like a forest?
It was bad. I'll show you pictures, love. Trust me. Okay. So I've only just done it. So my grass is just going through right now.
You've got perfect space that you could go out. I know it sounds really like, ew, I don't want to step on that. But just go outside and just stand barefoot. They
tell you, because to be grounded in it with nature. So yeah, I know all about that.
You should do it. You know
what? It's muddy at the moment. We're not muddy. It's a bit wet now.
Even when I start, if people that might be listening that know me, they're gonna be like, "This girl's on something. I don't know what she's on. I don't know what she's smoking, but I want some." No, I'm joking. But it's only been since August, and it's my eldest daughter that, because August I literally felt like I was choking. I felt like somebody was like choking the hell out of me. That's how I felt, yeah. Because I stopped working from May. There's only so much sleep you can remember in lockdown. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? And August, I said to my daughter, every day I get up, I literally feel like I just can't breathe, like I'm choking. And she said, oh, just try reading, Mum.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? Start doing some exercise. The exercise was like, oh yeah, everybody bloody says exercise. I ain't got time for that. Do you get what I mean? So I just started out reading. Do you get what I mean? And
what material was you reading?
She made me read a book called The Miracle Morning. Okay. Right, and The Miracle Morning is literally where you set this, you know, the long and short of it is that you form a routine, 60 minutes every morning before you start your day. So it includes it's called the Saver, so silence, which could be a meditation, deep breathing or whatever, affirmations, do you get what I mean? Visualization, exercise, reading, and then scribing, which is the journaling part of it. Okay. Do you get what I mean? So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a try, because today I've given everything else a try, and you know when you just don't feel like you're living, you just feel like you're existing. It's like, why am I here? You haven't met your self-actualization. You understand what I mean? You know, you're waking up every day, it's like, why am I here? I've had my children now, what else? What am I meant to do? So I just started doing that, and I'm still doing it. That's why I said to you that every day I get up now at 8 o'clock. You know, I used to do it at 7 o'clock, but you know, I thought you want that little extra hour. So let me just do 8 o'clock and be realistic. Do you get what I mean? So I just get out every day at 8 o'clock and I do that routine, and it makes me feel so much better out throughout the day. And you see the days that I do miss it, I notice the difference. Because I get restless, I get lethargic, I feel like I want to burst out of my body. Do you get what I mean? All of that kind of experience. Yeah. So that's why, and someone that said to me, obviously, you know, try going and grind out. And the thought of going to a park, it's just like, I ain't doing that. Do you get what I mean?
I've done it in parks, like I said, when I didn't use, obviously, I've only just done the garden. So
I'll try it with like socks on first. But I'm like you, like muddy and all of that. But it's a nice space.
No, it is.
To just sit out there and just take in the breeze.
A lot of people do talk about grounding. You know, just being out one with nature and how, you know, the positive benefits of it. So definitely something to try. As you can see, I've got my little weight bench out there.
Yeah.
Weights on the shelf.
Obviously, as you said, you still need to, you know, do your other therapy and all the rest of it. So we're not negating all of that. We're just saying that.
Yeah, but for your day to day, when I've slept, one thing I don't believe in is when you're doing strength training, not getting adequate sleep.
Okay.
Obviously, if you don't sleep well, I like strength training. I like to do weights. Injuries.
Okay.
So sometimes I'm sleeping, I can't even access it as much as I would like to because, you know, I like to do deadlifts and. You know, my squats and stuff like that. You know, I like to try and go heavy with my weights. You know, strength training. I'm very passionate about it. And sometimes if I haven't had, you know, adequate sleep, I go there, I'll injure myself. Then that puts me out for like 2-3 weeks now. Properly. Yeah, it's just, but you know, everything's just kind of stiff. You know, you haven't slept, your body's just fatigued. It's not good condition to go to the gym under. And you, after training as well, you should really get at least 8 hours sleep. You need to build muscle, depending on what your goals are. I'm trying to have more muscle gain. So I should really be sleeping for 8 hours. But sometimes I can only sleep for 8 hours with medication. So how does that work? It doesn't, is the point. But under the days when, like I said, I feel really low, if I can make it to the gym, I go. And I'll go like at least 3 to 5 days a week.
Okay.
You know, I'll work on like legs and glutes and stuff like that for about 3 days a week, and upper body the other 2, and cardio. And I will tell you, when I come out, I feel good. I might have gone to the gym and felt really depressed before I got there. Like I could have probably felt suicidal before I got to the gym. And when I go there, it's because it's a lot of mind body connection. It's like I can switch off. It's like I found my little happy place.
I'm just at bike riding at the moment. I'm not at your stage yet.
But everyone has, you know, everyone has their little thing that just gives them. Remember, when I go there, I'm going for just mental peace and clarity.
It's true.
I'm going to stop the noise in my head.
Definitely.
And when I'm there, I can stop the noise. So if I go to the gym for an hour and a half or 2 hours, that noise has stopped. I'm not overly anxious in that 2 hours. I'm not depressed in that 2 hours. I don't have this extensive to-do list and the demands of what I have to do all the time, like my everyday reality. I can just switch off and be me. All I'm thinking about at that time is mind and body connection.
We're going to go on to that in the next episode when we talk about anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the exercise and, you know, the things that, you know, we should be doing or we can do to minimize, as you said, the traffic and the noise in your head, because a lot of the time that is what causes anxiety, depression, and all the rest of it, feeling out of control and all. But we're not going to get into that on this episode because
I know
Queen is joining us for another episode, so we're going to get into that. So guys, it's been amazing speaking to you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely, it's been, you know, thank you for having me.
No problem, anytime.
You know, thank each other for, you know, gracing each other's space. But we're definitely going to catch up on part 2.
Yes.
To, you know, go ahead and discuss, you know, deeper into mental health, because we're going to dedicate the rest of this month to, you know, speaking about mental health. So. And
why are we doing it this month is because it's what?
It is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Exactly.
That's in the US, and Mental Health Awareness Week in the UK. So that's why we're doing this. And, you know, obviously it's something that we don't speak about in the community, that we should be speaking about, you know. Just as much as we speak about people's man.
Oh gosh.
And all the rest of it.
Yeah, it's true.
We should be speaking about mental health. So, so that's
why. More of this. What I will say, like I said, if anyone's been triggered by anything I've said today, or you feel like you need support, please go to your GP Speak to a friend if you can. They've got crisis helplines, like I said before as well. Minds.
Yeah.
Or if you're having suicidal thoughts and you think you might act on them, please go to A&E.
Yeah, and that's mind.org.uk because they're brilliant. You know, so I've been on their website.
Yeah, it's very
I
informative.
got into that, but yeah, they're wicked.
Yeah.
So guys, thanks for tuning in, and we see you next week, same place, same time. You know, man.